Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another tutorial. So in this lesson we're picking up exactly where we left off in the previous video. So in the previous video we got code in place for the frame rate and the game speed. Now we've locked the frame rate to default, which is 60 FPS in my case, and we will have to come back to this, obviously being able to change it in the options, but for now we're going to deal with game speed. So we have it setting to the default on the game manager when the game is first launched, and that is what we want. But we need to make some changes to both the controller manager and game options menu script. So the controller manager, we're just going to scroll down to the late update. So as you can see, we have two lines for timescale. We're setting to 1, which is default for Unity itself. But in this case, we now need to set to the default instead, or our selected game speed. So we're going to create an if, open and close brackets, fight intro script dot fight intro finished double equals false. Let's put that into the comments. If fight intro finished is equal to false, so the match hasn't started yet, and as I say, if we're not in a match, then we only want the default game speed, so the game speed stays consistent on everything outside the match, or the options menu, the controller manager, everything else remains the same. So we'll select default game speed. We'll need to amend the comments, then set timescale to default. And of course you can always put from the game manager script if you wish. But then we're going to come below and we're going to say else. So if the fight intro has finished, we don't necessarily want to go back to the default game speed. So, sorry, that's something completely different. So we'll say else time dot time scale is still going to equal the game manager script dot, only this time we're going to use selected game speed. So let's put that into the comments. Else said timescale to selected game speed. Now, obviously, at the moment, our selected game speed is the same as default. If we come to the game manager, we can see that here. But of course, we will implement the ability to change what the selected game speed is equal to in the options menu later on. But for now, I'm going to copy this if block. So we want all 4 lines. And we're also going to paste it over this line, timescale equals 1, which is just below. And we'll save that off. And we're going to come to the options menu. And again, I think this we put in the late update. I'll just double check. So late update. And here, when we disable the options in game, we'll go back to, let me just check first. I don't think there's any other references. No, there isn't. Actually, I'm going to just undo that. I'll come to if options active equals false. We'll open and close brackets. We'll delete the timescale 1 line. We'll just move the comment back to its correct position. And now we can come select the same if block, and that can be pasted in here. So let's save that off. So because our default frame rate is the same as the selected, if I hit play, as you can see, it's still remaining at 60 FPS. The game speed here hasn't sped up any, and it won't do in game at the moment because the game speed is still the same. You can see that with the second counter here. But just to show you this working, I'm going to come to the game manager script. Selected speed is going to equal 10, and I'll just save that off now. You know, you can always do this to test, but obviously once you've done, reset it back to default for the time being. Now 10 is ridiculously high, is going to run, in fact I'll use half that value of 5. Even 5's going to be way too much, but hopefully it should be easy to see in game. So let's hit play. So in menus, this is all going to run at the same pace, the same speed. Everything is fine. The fight intro is again the same. So let's have a look. The game itself is still running at the same speed. So let me just check. Oh yes, let's just come to the scripts. I've actually forgot something, so let's just come here. So fight intro, there we go, fight announcement. This is where it needs to go, so let's have a look. Again, let's just come and copy that same if block. Sorry about that. I completely forgot to do this script. It's only when I just looked over at my notes that says to remember to put it in that I realised. So let's just go through again. I'll come back to that script if you didn't quite see. So we'll just let the intro play. Now we have a game speed of 5. So we've sped up the game quite a lot. Obviously 5 is way too high. I'll just come back to the fight intro. As you can see, this is where I have pasted the if block. And I've pasted it just before we stop the coroutine function. So this is where it needs to go. After the fight intro finished equals true. So make sure that you actually paste it in after that line. So I'll come back to the game manager script. I'll just reset it back to default. As I said, 5 is way too high. I'll just save that off. Now I'll play it again. Now set back to default. But as I said, 5 is way too high, but it's just so it's easy to see. So this will basically now give you turbo settings. And of course we're back at the default game speed again, you can see by the counter. And we'll stop that there. We'll leave the video here for now. As always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.